On April 20th, 2026, many people will wake up expecting something that feels routine, predictable, and necessary. For some, it's not just another day. It's the day they check whether their monthly payment has arrived. That moment when you unlock your phone, open your banking app, and scroll through recent transactions carries more weight than most people realize. When the deposit isn't there, even for a few hours, it can trigger real anxiety. Thoughts start racing. Questions begin stacking up with no clear answers. Did something change? Was there a delay? Is there a problem with the account? And most importantly, will everything be okay this month? The reality is, this situation happens far more often than it should, and not because the system is broken, but because the rules behind it are not always clearly understood. Payments don't arrive randomly, and they don't follow the same schedule for everyone. There is a structured system in place, but when that system is misunderstood, it creates confusion that feels like a crisis. The timing of payments is based on something very simple, but often overlooked: your date of birth. Instead of everyone receiving funds at the same time, payments are distributed across different Wednesdays throughout the month. If a birthday falls between the beginning and the 10th, the payment is scheduled for the second Wednesday. If it falls between the 11th and the 20th, the payment comes on the third Wednesday. And if the birthday is later in the month, the payment arrives on the fourth Wednesday. This structure doesn't change based on income, bank, or location. It is fixed, consistent, and predictable once you understand it. Confusion often begins when people compare their situation with someone else's. A neighbor might mention receiving funds at the start of the month, which leads to the assumption that everyone follows the same pattern. But not all benefits operate under the same schedule. Some programs are designed differently, and mixing them up creates expectations that don't match reality. That mismatch is where stress begins. Another important detail that many overlook is the built-in delay in how payments are processed. Benefits are issued 1 month after they are earned. This means what arrives this month is actually tied to the previous month. It's not a delay caused by an error or a system issue. It's simply how the process has always worked. Understanding this removes a major source of confusion, especially for those who are newly receiving payments and expecting immediate alignment with the current month. Even when the schedule is understood, there are still moments when payments appear late or smaller than expected. In many cases, the explanation is straightforward. Deductions, particularly for healthcare coverage, are taken before the money reaches the account. What appears in the bank is not always the full amount that was initially calculated. This difference can be surprising if you're only looking at the original figures and not accounting for automatic deductions. There's also a lesser-known factor that affects many people who continue to earn income after starting benefits. If earnings exceed a certain threshold before reaching full eligibility age, payments may be temporarily reduced. And this doesn't mean the money is permanently lost, but it can create short-term adjustments that feel unexpected. The system tracks income through official records, and any discrepancy is eventually corrected, sometimes through reductions in future payments. These adjustments often catch people off guard because they don't happen immediately. There can be a delay between earning additional income and seeing its impact. By the time the adjustment appears, it feels sudden and unexplained. But in reality, it's part of a process that was already set in motion. Another area that creates misunderstanding is what happens after the loss of a spouse. Many assume that both benefits will continue together, but that's not how it works. The system allows for one benefit, typically the higher of the two. And choosing the right option requires awareness and timing. Making a decision without full understanding can result in receiving less than what is actually available. All of these factors point to one core issue: lack of clear, accessible information. The rules are not hidden, but they are not always presented in a way that feels easy to follow. When people are left to figure things out on their own, small misunderstandings can turn into major concerns. The good news is that this confusion can be reduced with a few simple actions. The first step is knowing your exact payment schedule, not guessing, not assuming, but verifying it directly from official records. Once you know your date, you can plan around it with confidence instead of uncertainty. The second step is paying close attention to any communication you receive. Every notice matters. Ignoring a letter or delaying a response can lead to missed opportunities to correct an issue. There are time limits for taking action, and once those pass, options become more limited. Staying informed and responding promptly keeps you in control of the situation. The third step is keeping your own records organized. Having access to past statements, notices, and payment history gives you a clear picture of what has happened and what to expect. It also makes it easier to address any discrepancies quickly. When everything is documented, you're not relying solely on memory or external systems. These steps are simple, but they are powerful. They shift the experience from reactive to proactive. Instead of waiting and worrying, you are prepared and informed. There's also an emotional side to all of this that often goes unspoken. Financial uncertainty, even temporary, can feel overwhelming. It's not just about numbers. It's about stability, independence, and peace of mind. When something disrupts that, even briefly, it creates a ripple effect that goes beyond the bank account. That's why understanding these systems matters. It's not just about avoiding confusion. It's about reducing stress and maintaining a sense of control. When you know how things work, unexpected situations become easier to manage. If you've ever found yourself checking your account repeatedly, refreshing the screen, hoping to see a deposit appear, you're not alone. That moment of uncertainty is shared by many, but it doesn't have to be a recurring experience. That the more you understand the structure behind the payments, the less power that uncertainty has. You start to recognize patterns. You know what to expect and when to expect it. And when something does seem off, you have the tools to figure out why. As you move forward, take a moment to apply what you've learned. Confirm your schedule. Review your recent transactions. Make sure you understand any deductions. These small actions build confidence over time. And if this kind of clear, straightforward explanation helps you make sense of things that once felt complicated, consider staying connected for more insights like this. Sometimes all it takes is the right information at the right time to turn confusion into clarity. There will always be systems, rules, and processes that seem complex at first. But when they are broken down into simple, understandable pieces, they become manageable. That's the goal here. Not to overwhelm, but to simplify. Moving ahead, keep focusing on what you can control. Stay informed, stay organized, and don't hesitate to seek clarification when something doesn't make sense. The more engaged you are with your own information, the less likely you are to be caught off guard. And if you want more guidance that keeps things simple and practical, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what comes next. Because understanding your finances shouldn't feel like a mystery. It should feel like something you can handle with confidence.